Cities are the beating hearts of our civilization, the engines of progress and the melting pots of culture. They pulse with life, innovation and opportunity, drawing people from all corners of the globe. They represent the pinnacle of human ingenuity and our collective aspirations. They are home to more than half the world's people, a figure that continues to rise as urbanization accelerates across the globe. This concentration of humanity brings immense benefits, but also presents unique challenges, especially in the face of a changing climate. But today, cities face a growing threat, a challenge that could undermine their very existence. This threat looms large, casting a shadow over the vibrant energy and bustling activity that defines urban life. Climate change is reshaping the environment, bringing with it a cascade of impacts that are felt most acutely in our urban centers. From rising sea levels to more frequent and intense heat waves, the consequences are becoming increasingly apparent, in ways we can no longer ignore. The time for complacency is over. We must confront the reality of a changing climate and take decisive action to protect our cities and the people who call them home. Temperatures are rising, pushing urban heat islands to dangerous extremes, threatening the health and well-being of vulnerable populations. The relentless heat can make even simple tasks unbearable. Storms are growing fiercer, unleashing devastating winds and torrential rainfall that overwhelm infrastructure and endanger lives. These extreme weather events are becoming the new normal, and floods are becoming more common, inundating streets, homes, and businesses, causing widespread damage and disruption. The rising waters pose a significant threat to urban economies and the safety of residents. Urban areas are especially vulnerable due to their concentration of people, infrastructure, and economic activity. The interconnectedness of urban systems means that a single disruption can have cascading effects throughout the entire city. Concrete and asphalt soak up heat, creating what is known as the urban heat island effect, exacerbating the already rising temperatures. These materials trap heat during the day and release it slowly at night, making cities significantly warmer than surrounding areas, making cities hotter than the countryside, placing additional strain on energy grids and public health systems. This disparity in temperature can have significant consequences for the well-being of urban residents. High population density increases the risk during disasters, making it more challenging to evacuate people and provide emergency services. The sheer number of people living in close proximity amplifies the potential for harm. Essential services, like water, which is vital for sanitation, hygiene, and basic survival, power, the lifeblood of modern society, fueling everything from hospitals to transportation systems and transport, can be easily disrupted, crippling the city and leaving residents stranded. These critical systems are often vulnerable to extreme weather events and other climate-related impacts. The challenge is clear: cities must adapt or face serious consequences. Failure to address the impacts of climate change could lead to economic decline, social unrest, and a diminished quality of life for urban residents. But there is hope. Despite the daunting challenges, cities possess the potential to transform themselves into resilient and sustainable environments. Cities are centers of innovation and energy, brimming with creative minds and cutting-edge technologies. They are hubs for research, development, and entrepreneurship, driving progress in countless fields. They can lead the way in finding solutions, pioneering new approaches to urban planning, infrastructure development, and resource management. Cities can serve as models for other communities around the world. By planning wisely, we can outsmart climate change, designing cities that are more resilient, sustainable, and equitable. Smart planning can mitigate the risks and capitalize on the opportunities presented by a changing climate, and make our cities safer and more livable, creating vibrant communities where people can thrive in the face of adversity. A resilient city is a city that can adapt and prosper no matter what challenges it faces. This essay will explore in detail how cities can prepare for the future, adapting to the challenges of a changing climate and building a more sustainable and resilient urban environment. We will look at the threats they face, examining the specific vulnerabilities of urban areas to climate change impacts and the creative ways they can respond, showcasing innovative solutions and best practices from cities around the world. Together, we will discover the path to resilient urban futures. A future where cities are not just surviving, but thriving in a changing world. Heat is one of the most pressing challenges for cities around the globe. As populations concentrate in urban centers, the impact of rising temperatures becomes increasingly severe, affecting everything from public health to infrastructure. Urban areas often experience, due to their unique characteristics, what is called the urban heat island effect. This phenomenon significantly elevates temperatures within cities compared to their surrounding areas. This means that cities are much warmer, sometimes by several degrees, than the surrounding countryside. This temperature difference can have profound consequences for the environment and the people who live there. Concrete, glass, and metal, the very materials that define our modern cities, absorb and trap heat, acting as thermal sponges that exacerbate the urban heat island effect. They soak up the sun's energy during the day and release it slowly, keeping cities warmer for longer. Air conditioning units, while providing relief indoors, pump even more hot air into the streets, creating a vicious cycle of heat generation. Extreme heat can be deadly, especially for those with pre-existing health conditions or limited access to cooling resources. During heat waves, when temperatures soar to dangerous levels, hospitals fill with people suffering from heat stroke and dehydration, placing immense strain on healthcare systems. Vulnerable groups, like the elderly and young children, are at greatest risk as their bodies are less able to regulate temperature effectively. Heat also worsens air pollution, trapping pollutants near the ground and making it harder for everyone to breathe, particularly those with respiratory illnesses. The problem is growing, and the challenges are becoming more complex. Climate change is making heat waves, those periods of prolonged and excessive heat, more frequent and more intense, pushing cities to their limits. In some cities, temperatures now reach levels that were once rare, shattering historical records and posing unprecedented threats. Nighttime heat is rising too, preventing buildings and infrastructure from cooling down, giving people little chance to cool down and rest, leading to sleep deprivation and increased stress on the body. To survive, cities must cool themselves, implementing innovative strategies to mitigate the urban heat island effect. This means rethinking from the ground up how we design and build our urban spaces, prioritizing sustainability and resilience. It is a challenge that demands urgent action and creative thinking, requiring collaboration between governments, urban planners, and communities to create cooler, healthier, and more livable cities for all. Cities, the bustling hubs of human activity, are also increasingly at risk from the growing intensity of extreme weather events. The concentration of people and infrastructure makes them particularly vulnerable. Powerful storms, once considered rare occurrences, and heavy rains are becoming more frequent and intense due to climate change. These shifts in weather patterns pose significant challenges to urban environments. These extreme weather events can cause widespread damage to buildings, infrastructure, and essential services, disrupting daily life and economic activity. Streets designed for transportation quickly turn into raging rivers, as drainage systems struggle to cope with the sheer volume of water. Homes and businesses, the cornerstones of urban life, are flooded, leading to devastating losses for residents and business owners alike. The economic impact can be substantial and long-lasting. Transport grinds to a complete halt, leaving commuters stranded and disrupting the flow of goods and services throughout the city. The ripple effects can be felt across the entire urban ecosystem, and power lines essential for keeping the city running go down, plunging entire neighborhoods into darkness and disrupting critical infrastructure like hospitals and emergency services. Flooding is not just an inconvenience, it is a serious and escalating threat to the very fabric of urban life. Many of the world's major cities are strategically built near rivers, for trade and resources, or directly on the coast, for access to the sea. As sea levels continue to rise due to global warming, the risk of coastal flooding increases exponentially, threatening the very existence of these urban centers. Powerful storm surges driven by strong winds can overwhelm even the most robust barriers and flood defenses, leaving cities vulnerable to the destructive force of the ocean. Even a seemingly short burst of heavy rain, lasting only minutes, can quickly cause widespread chaos and disruption if the city's drains and sewer systems are not adequately prepared to handle the sudden influx of water. Storms do not just bring torrential rain and flooding, they also bring the destructive force of wind. High winds, gusting at incredible speeds, can easily tear off roofs from buildings, leaving them exposed to the elements. They can shatter windows, sending shards of glass flying through the air and topple even the most mature and sturdy trees, blocking roads and damaging property. The cost of repairing this widespread damage, from infrastructure to individual homes, is often astronomical, placing a significant strain on city budgets. For vulnerable communities already struggling with poverty and inequality, the impact of these extreme weather events can be particularly devastating and can last for years, hindering their ability to recover and rebuild. To effectively protect themselves and their citizens, cities must proactively get ready for these increasingly frequent and intense extreme weather events, investing in preparedness and mitigation strategies. This means investing in building stronger and more resilient defenses, such as seawalls, flood barriers, and improved drainage systems. It also requires comprehensive planning for emergencies, including evacuation plans, communication strategies, and resource allocation protocols. Adapting to these changes is a test of resilience, requiring innovative solutions and a commitment to long-term sustainability. It is a test that cities must pass, not just to survive, but to thrive in an increasingly uncertain future, ensuring the safety and well-being of their citizens. One of the best ways to outsmart climate change is to work with nature. Cities around the world are adding green spaces to cool the air and soak up water. Green roofs and walls are covered with plants. They help lower temperatures and provide homes for birds and insects. Permeable roads and pavements are another smart solution. Unlike traditional concrete, they let rainwater soak through. This reduces flooding and helps refill underground water supplies. Parks, gardens, and urban forests all play a role in making cities more resilient. Public transport is also key. Buses, trains, and bike lanes reduce the number of cars on the road. This cuts pollution and keeps the air cleaner. Well-designed transport systems can keep people moving even during storms or heat waves. By reimagining infrastructure, cities can become cooler, greener, and more adaptable. These changes make urban life better for everyone. Buildings are at the heart of city life. To face climate change, they must be designed to save energy and withstand extreme weather. New buildings can use special materials that reflect heat and keep interiors cool. Large windows and shade structures reduce the need for air conditioning. Older buildings can be retrofitted. This means adding insulation, storm shutters, or stronger roofs. Solar panels and green roofs can be installed on top. Even small changes can make a big difference in comfort and safety. Energy efficiency is vital. Buildings that use less energy produce fewer emissions. Smart systems can adjust lighting and temperature automatically. In some cities, entire neighborhoods are being redesigned to use renewable energy and recycle water. Resilient buildings protect people and save money. They are a key part of any city's climate strategy. With smart design, we can create homes and workplaces that are ready for the future. No city can outsmart climate change alone. Success depends on everyone working together. Local communities know their neighborhoods best. They can help spot risks and come up with creative solutions. Community gardens, tree planting days, and neighborhood watch groups all build resilience. Governments play a vital role too. They set the rules for building and planning. They provide funding for big projects like new flood barriers or public transport lines. Good leadership brings people together and ensures that everyone is included. Education is important. People need to know how to prepare for heat waves, storms, and floods. Early warning systems and emergency plans can save lives. When everyone understands the risks, they are more likely to take action. By joining forces, communities and governments can make cities stronger. Together, they can build a future that is safe and sustainable. Modern technology offers powerful tools to help cities adapt. Sensors can monitor air quality, temperature, and water levels in real time. This data helps city leaders make quick decisions during emergencies. Drones and satellites can map flood zones and track storms as they approach. Research is uncovering new ways to build and protect cities. Scientists are developing materials that stay cool in the sun. Engineers are designing smarter drainage systems that handle heavy rain. Apps and websites help people find safe routes and get updates during disasters. Artificial intelligence is making cities smarter. It can predict where floods might happen or which neighborhoods are most at risk. This allows for better planning and faster response. By embracing technology and research, cities can stay one step ahead. Innovation is the key to building resilience in a changing world. Some cities are already leading the way. In Singapore, green roofs and vertical gardens cover buildings, cooling the city and cleaning the air. The Netherlands has built floating neighborhoods and flexible flood barriers to cope with rising seas. New York City has invested in stronger sea walls and expanded parks that absorb floodwater. In Melbourne, tree planting programs have made streets cooler and more pleasant. These projects show what is possible when cities commit to resilience. Each city faces unique challenges, but by sharing ideas and learning from each other, progress can be faster. International networks help cities exchange knowledge and support. These examples prove that change is possible. The path is not easy, but it leads to a safer future. Imagine a city where nature and people live side by side. Streets are lined with trees, and green roofs cover every building. Public transport is fast, clean, and reliable. Homes and offices stay cool in summer and warm in winter, using little energy. In this city, everyone knows how to stay safe during storms or heat waves. Technology helps leaders make smart choices, and communities work together to solve problems. The city grows and thrives, even as the climate changes. This vision is within our reach. With courage, creativity, and cooperation, cities can outsmart climate change. They can become beacons of hope for the world. The resilient city is not just a dream, it is our future if we choose to build it together.